All right, what's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Timeout with Doc and Caveman. We are back with an in-season edition. We're going to be doing this every week. It's Overreaction Monday. So Caveman and I have some notes compiled, and we're going to go over some of our overreactions from last week, the first week of the NBA season. Before we hop into that, I just want to remind everybody to subscribe on YouTube, or if you prefer the audio version, you can listen wherever you're listening to podcasts and subscribe and follow there. But let's hop into it. The season started. We had a long off season of lots of
Yeah.
content, and we had no break, so we get to hop right into the season. So,
No
um,
breaks.
no break. There's no breaks during the timeout with Cave Doc and Caveman. There are no breaks.
No
NBA
breaks.
is 365 days a year.
Yes, it is.
So let's talk about the first week of the season a little bit. Um, I guess I'll start off with one. So a guy that I liked quite a bit in the preseason. This was one of my preseason predictions. But I think that week one validated it, but some people may have it as an overreaction. But Tyler Herro is going to win Sixth Man of the Year. I think that the biggest thing that could hold him back potentially is going to be him moving into the starting lineup, for being honest about it. But I mean, he had a huge first week. I think he's at least worth mentioning. 28 and a half points for the Heat, 8 rebounds, 2.5 assists. He had the 18th highest efficiency rating in the first week of the season. Caveman, do you think that he has a chance to win Sixth Man of the Year, or am I crazy? I said it preseason, and I'm sticking
Yeah.
by it after this week.
Uh, I'm gonna say no because I think he's gonna find the starting lineup. I think that.
I mean, he has to
I
at some
think
point,
they're
right?
gonna. I think that their hands are gonna be forced there. I mean, Tyler Herro did. I know he did cool off his last game a bit after his first game or two. He didn't have the greatest game their last game that I believe they played. I believe they played yesterday. Uh, and didn't do great,
I
but
mean, he wasn't very efficient. I mean, he ended up with 30 points. He had a huge fourth quarter and overtime, but um, yeah, he only shot 25% from three. He was chucking up threes all
oh yeah,
night, and he
I mean
was not
that's
he was
kind of
not
his
making them.
thing. Yeah, but yeah, I think Tyler Herro is one of those guys, and he's been kind of a hot topic among in the off season because he himself said he was as good as Luka Doncic or Trae Young.
I
Uh,
think he's better.
which I mean, that's the overreaction right there. Uh, the reality is, no, that's just silly. There's no. I'm sorry,
But
Jordan.
you're saying no in a positive way though, because you're saying no because he's going to be starting. If he, let's say that the Heat say, you know what, he is well served in his role as a sixth man, so we're going to keep him there all year. You don't think he has any chance if he's the
Oh yeah,
sixth man all
if
year?
if he stays
Okay.
in that
Uh,
six man role,
Alright.
but
I no, I will accept that. It's no because he's going to do bigger and better things, and he's going to average more
the
points.
problem if he stays the six man is that he has to compete. In my opinion, he's going to end up competing with Jordan Clarkson in Utah, and that's going to be and Joe Ingles for that matter. He's gonna have quite the competition for six man if he stays a six man.
So should my overreaction be Tyler Hero since he's averaging more points than Luca is better than Luca, right?
Your overreaction in general is that should be that trait that Tyler Herro is better than Luca and Trae Young. Is that are you gonna do that? You're gonna go that?
No, I respect myself too much to say that and mean it. Okay, so what do you got?
All right, so and this is more of a league than this is a perfect. I think this is an opportunity to talk about it. A lot of people, and this has been the number one thing talked about in the league, saying that Russell Westbrook should be coming off the bench. That's the big overreaction from early in the season. Now, for me, okay, that's insanity. Is it not insanity? I mean, I realize, and he kind of rebounded and had a better game than opening night, but
Well, that's not saying much.
I mean, true, but the reality is that while in theory it would make sense because you have LeBron at this stage in his career and for this Lakers team needs the ball in his hands and to be the facilitator. Russell Westbrook is not a great off the ball player because he can't shoot. I mean, he's not afraid to take shots, but he can't shoot perimeter shots. It's not his game, and he's not good at them. That's never really been his game to begin with. And he needs the ball in his hands, Russell Westbrook, to be effective. I mean, in theory, coming out the bench would make sense. Kind of run that second unit. But the problem with that is first of all, I don't think you're going to be paying a guy $35 million to come off the bench or whatever Russell Westbrook is making. That's one thing.
No.
That's the first problem with that. The second problem is the type of personality and the type of competitive spirit that Russell Westbrook has. All behind the scenes, in public, players will say, "Oh, I'll do whatever it takes to help the team," especially Russell Westbrook coming home to LA. He's going to say that he's going to do whatever it takes for a team to win. But there's that, and then there's that competitiveness in a guy like Russell Westbrook who, through all his flaws, the one thing you cannot say about Russell Westbrook is that he does not go out there and compete. Russell Westbrook is 100%, 100% of the time. Sometimes that's a bad thing, but that's kind of another thing. But I just think his overall demeanor and personality and competitiveness is not. I don't think it would jive well coming off the bench.
No, I mean that's
the
not gonna happen.
That's the biggest thing for me is they're gonna have to. And LeBron James is the one guy where I think he could adapt and figure out, okay, how can we make this work with Russell Westbrook in the starting lineup? Maybe I think it's gonna come down to LeBron's going to have to be like, okay, Russell Westbrook is going to have to be the main facilitator on this team, and LeBron will kind of have to do his thing off the ball.
Yeah, and I mean, it kind of goes back to one of the reasons I really didn't like them that much this preseason is I agree that LeBron is more likely to be able to thrive in any situation you put him in. He's been, I mean, early in his career, I think his early career offensive game is similar to Russell Westbrook's because LeBron really had no jump shot when he was younger. But over the last 5 or so years, he's developed a pretty nice jump shot, honestly. He's made 10 3-pointers in the first 2 games this season and has been very effective.
But it's better than Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, at times it is, but yeah, I mean, he has more ability to be an off-ball player than Russell Westbrook. I mean, he's not going to go to the bench for a million different reasons, and I don't know who has mentioned that.
I know. I don't know who started.
You need to stop listening to Stephen A. Smith.
It was not Stephen A. Smith, okay? Stephen A. Smith is not a fan of Russell Westbrook coming off the bench.
But yeah, I mean, the reality is the reason they're not going to do it too is because they brought in Russell Westbrook to play with LeBron and Anthony Davis. And in order for them to learn how to gel together, they're going to have to play together. And the reality is they're going to have to go through a rough patch in the beginning of the season. So that way they're ready to win when the games matter. And if you move him to the bench, I mean, they're not going to learn how to play more effectively
What does that really do as well?
What moving him to the bench?
I mean, it gives them a better bench, but look at the depth.
It's admitting defeat, honestly. You're saying already
they have. And first of all, and also, let's talk about how horrible of a pairing. I don't know what Vogel was thinking at all, playing Russell Westbrook and Rondo on the court at the same time. That's a bad idea. Never do that again. Never do that again, Vogel. Please don't.
Yeah, that's a terrible idea. Yeah, I mean, the Lakers, it's going to be fun to monitor all season. Obviously, they're going to be a hot topic of conversation. I mean, we're sitting here right now, and the teams that play in Los Angeles are 0-4. So there has not been a game won by a Los Angeles franchise yet this season. So that's kind of interesting, and obviously that's not going to stay that way very long, but it's going to at least be something to monitor. Let's go over to, I'll stay in the Western Conference since we're here. How about the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to make the playoffs in the Western Conference? Anthony Edwards has looked good. Karl Anthony Towns has been I mean, he's always put up numbers, if we're being honest about it. I still doubt a little bit if he's a winning player because he doesn't play defense. Anthony Edwards doesn't play defense. But what do you think? I think that the Timberwolves, they brought in a whole new management group. I know their roster didn't change a ton, but maybe this is the year that the Wolves actually put it all together. They have on paper the roster to do it, and why not? Why can't they make the Western Conference playoffs?
I wanna be a believer in Minnesota, but you look at it's how can you trust them? Look at the history.
This is a brand new day, my friend.
Brand new day. I mean, look at it's just I can't get there with them. I mean, if a month in the season, I'm gonna need at least need at least a month of this. Let's say.
Okay, fine.
Let's say through 20 games, they're like 14-6, 15-5, or something.
They have to be that good to make the playoffs? God dang, Caveman.
Well, the reality is they're not, first of all.
They haven't touched 500 in like 30 years. If they're 15-5, they should just hang a championship banner after those 20 games for them.
They started off undefeated. They're 2-0 or 3-0. It's
2-0 right now. Yeah. So
they can very well go from 2-0 to 2-12. Okay. This is the Minnesota.
Okay, I mean, I don't like that negativity. We don't need that kind of negativity in Minnesota. No, I mean, I think it's one for me. I do think that it'll be at least interesting to monitor because we talked about in their team preview. On paper, this is a team that should make the playoffs. I mean, they're good enough. They have 3 guys that are capable of making an all-star team. Well, 2 of them have, and Anthony Edwards will. So, I mean, the reality is so far this season, they played the Houston Rockets and the Pelicans. Wake me up when they beat a good team, and then maybe we can talk. But I do think it'll be fun to monitor because they should be better than they are. So.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, what do you got next, Dave, man?
I mean, I think it's time we just talked about like 3 Western Conference teams.
Okay, I agree.
Let's go to one of my East takes. Man, and hear me out here. I think the 76ers, this is another sticking with the kind of a hot topic around the league, and this is trying to. It's hard to take Ben Simmons out of it because
who
is
never heard of her.
I think the 76ers have a better chance to win the championship without Ben Simmons.
God, like this season?
This season, I think that they have a better chance to win the title without Ben Simmons. And I say that there's a couple reasons for this. look at the guys that are having a chance to thrive without Ben Simmons in the line. You look at a guy, Tyrese Maxey has arrived, in my opinion. I mean, he's kind of. I mean, I'm not saying he's like a superstar or anything right now, but he's been stepped up really well on the offense, especially on the offensive end without Ben Simmons, and that's the. I'm not saying Tyrese Maxey is better than Ben Simmons.
That's what I just heard.
I mean, but definitely offensively shooting the ball, he's better than Ben Simmons. But the reality is I think for this
I'm better at shooting threes than Ben Simmons.
Hey, no, he has more career three-pointers than you by one, okay?
I have 2 career 3-pointers. Thank you very much.
Oh, do you now?
In the 12-year-old division in Binghamton, New York. So that's got to count for something.
Okay.
But proceed.
But the reality is, I think you look at a guy like Joel Embiid, and I really think this whole Ben Simmons situation at this point it could propel them. And now, in my opinion, what's going to happen is that I think based on what came out about Ben Simmons being not mentally ready to play, which is very baffling to me, and it's kind of you gotta bring it up, but is it something you really want to talk about? Because it's kind of one of those gray area subjects where you don't want to say too much on it. But the reality, I think they're gonna. I mean, now the record they haven't really started out great, but I think in the long run they're gonna be better without Ben Simmons. What do you think of that?
Oh, yeah, in the long run, yes, I agree with that. There's no denying that because, I talked about it before when we talked in the individual episode, but this relationship has become toxic. And that was just highlighted even more so. I don't think we've talked since Ben Simmons just left practice, went to the strip club, and decided he was going to sell his house or whatever the frick actually happened. And Joel Embiid said, I don't care about this man. I don't know what's going on, but the reality is it's too toxic now to where it's ever going to be repaired effectively. But do I think that short term they have a better chance? No way. Because defensively, they're not going to be anywhere near the same team. Yes, Tyrese Maxey will step up on the offensive end, but if you had Ben Simmons there defensively, and then Maxey, and I think Maxey's long term, and maybe he develops into more. I compared him to Jordan Clarkson when we did our preview on him coming out, and I think that's still a nice comparison. I think he'll just be a high energy guy. He's 20, yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being Jordan Clarkson. The guy's not an all-world scorer, but averages 18 points a season. I mean, that's a pretty nice compliment for a 20-year-old. He, of course, can develop into more, but I think that that's a combination that could work together. Maxey and Simmons. I mean, I don't think we're ever going to get the opportunity to see if it would, but short term, no, I don't buy that it helps them out. Long term, absolutely, but they're going to have to retool themselves a little bit because this team's not going to win a championship the way that they're constructed. They don't have the enough talent in my opinion. I mean, they have some depth. They have Embiid. They have some pieces. They have pieces there, but as this roster is constructed today, this season, no, they don't have a chance to win the championship. Nope, no way.
I'm saying they have a better chance to win. I'm not saying they're gonna win the championship. I'm saying their chances are better without Ben Simmons.
I long term, I agree. No way this season. No, I mean, I understand the mental health piece of it. Once that came out, honestly, everything made a lot more sense to me. But the reality is, you have to be really mentally strong to play in Philly. I'm sorry. I know I've had mental health issues. I get it. I completely understand. But the reality is, when you're in Philly, he might not be wired. I couldn't play in Philly. I'd probably be balled up in a corner if I had a bad game.
Arguably,
but I just
look at arguably the most successful player to come out of Philly. I mean, this might be an excuse for me to talk about AI for a second.
Oh, Jesus Christ, come on.
I just for a second, but AI didn't take any shit from anybody. He didn't care.
No, his attitude is what you need in Philly. I mean,
exactly.
But so that's why there's nothing against Ben Simmons, but maybe he needs a smaller market with less pressure.
It was relevant.
It is. It's not wrong. But no, the guys that have thrived in Philly do have, they're a little more hardcore. And if there's nothing wrong with that, but maybe he needs to go to Minnesota, honestly. Just a smaller market, less pressure. It might make a lot more sense. So yeah, I mean, long term, they gotta just get rid of him. We'll see what happens with that. But let's stay in the Eastern Conference. You could go either way here. But let's go with the Bulls. I can say my Chicago Bulls, even though I'm not a Bulls fan. Whatever. The Chicago Bulls will win the Eastern Conference. That's my overreaction. I had them way too high, I am just still so impressed with how well they've clicked early in the season. That's still what's mind-boggling to me. Is this team's going to continue to build chemistry? And I mean, they're already functioning at a very high level already, and it's still usually when you pair together three new guys, well, four all-star level players, that never works out. Look at LA right now. That never works out this quickly. And for them to be clicking like this, I think they can legitimately win. And this isn't an overreaction that I'm saying just to say it. I legitimately believe this team can win the Eastern Conference. I really do. And okay, I don't want to seem too crazy because they've only beat the Pistons twice and the Pelicans, so maybe I need to calm down. But
you were just talking about how shitty Minnesota.
But
Jordan loves when teams beat up on other shitty teams.
I love it. Yeah, screw the Pistons. You guys need to be better. I don't care. But I mean, you do have to still take care of business against those kinds of teams. I just got done watching the Rams embarrass themselves in a win against the Lions. That was way too close. You got to take care of business in those games still. So the chemistry on court when you watch them though, I don't care who they're playing. It's been really effective, and I can't wait to watch them play the top teams in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, and I'm like halfway there with you on the Bulls. I kind of had the Bulls, and I think the Bulls will be a top 2 seed. I honestly think it'll be.
Once again, my number 3 wasn't high enough. I've really got to stick to my guns with these teams. I
honestly think the Bulls will be a top 2 seed. I think it's going to be Milwaukee, and then it's going to be the Bulls. I think the Bulls. Listen, and the thing is, I honestly like, and this is kind of my general overreaction. I think both the Bulls and Heat will be better than the Nets, and that's kind of my general overreaction. You look at the Heat and how, I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep bringing it up how much you hated the Kyle Lowry signing at the time. You were very. It is. They did take care of Milwaukee, but Milwaukee's down like half the roster right now.
Oh, cry me a river.
But I mean, Miami has looked like they're a championship built team. I mean, they lost Indiana, but Indiana always. This is always Indiana's time. Then they fizzle out. Nobody takes Indiana seriously early in the season. They always start off good. Well, I just think Miami's built in a way that can win them a championship. Kyle Lowry was really that missing piece. That them and we got done talk. We got to talk about earlier in the episode with Tyler Herro. I think he's gonna, if Tyler Herro steps up and is that dude that people have expectations for, you got him, and then you got Jimmy, you got Bam, you got Kyle Lowry being that guy. I mean, there's no reason to think that they can't, especially with, man, and this is talking about Brooklyn's kind of jumping all over the place between these three teams. But Brooklyn, I'm concerned with Brooklyn. I really think there's reason to be concerned. I mean, I originally thought that, okay, Kevin Durant, James Harden, maybe they don't really need Kyrie Irving. But to win a championship, they need Kyrie Irving. I think that's what it came. And this is Overreaction Monday, and the Nets will probably now win their next 10 games, and Kevin Durant will average 40 points a game.
They may not lose another game this season now.
I mean, yeah, but this is the overreaction. I mean, what's your thought? Do you think that it's time to worry about the Nets at least a little bit? I mean, what do you?
It was time to worry about the Nets the second that we kind of came to the realization that Kyrie wasn't playing this season. As much as James Harden and Durant I think they can win a championship together. I think the amount of money that Kyrie ties up allows them to not win a championship together. Now, let's say they trade Kyrie, they bring in another piece. That opens up a lot of salary cap for them to bring in more players to surround Durant and Harden with. Then I think they can win a championship.
Sure?
But when you're tying,
I know the rumor that keeps popping up is a Kyrie for Ben Simmons swap.
That's a great idea. I think that's a great idea.
That doesn't really free up any money, though.
No, I mean, either way, free up money or just bring in a player that's going to mesh well with those two. Either way, they can win a championship with that duo leading the way. But, I mean, it's hard to win when you have $35 million just, sitting at home, smoking a joint, whatever he's doing right now. I don't know what he's doing, but...
Assuming.
I mean, yeah, I am assuming. But whatever Kyrie does in his free time, he reads books about how dinosaurs, right? He doesn't believe dinosaurs are real or something. The Earth's flat. Whatever weird conspiracy theories he reads during the day, that's probably what he's consuming his time with right now. So, yeah, no, they can't win a championship. I didn't think they could win a championship with that trio because I thought defensively they would never be good enough. And without Kyrie, they will definitely not win a championship.
And that's saying something, because James Harden has completely changed his game to fit the Nets.
I'm not talking positively about James Harden anymore because I did that for 5 minutes. I did that for 5 minutes, and I'm not making that mistake again. So
but no, I'm just to say, I mean, that just speaks to how dire the situation. Because Kevin Durant's gonna do what Kevin Durant does. He's gonna score a bunch of points, and he's gonna be a reliable force for them every night. And I'm sorry, but Patty Mills isn't gonna shoot 90%.
You shut your mouth. You shut your mouth.
And he kind of cooled down finally.
Don't you dare talk bad about Patty Mills.
But reality is I'm sorry, if your number 3 option is Patty Mills, there's a problem.
Okay, fine, whatever. All right, what else you got? I think I'm good. I named my biggest ones, but you got any big ones you want to bring up?
You are not.
We're done.
We're
done.
You are not done off of this without me bringing up the Golden State Warriors. Okay.
Never.
Okay. My overreaction. I mean, I can't really overreact.
You are already overreacted by having them win the championship.
Oh no, I'm gonna kind of at least try to add to it. The Warriors will be the #1 seed in the Western Conference.
Okay. The Warriors will never lose a game again. That's my overreaction.
No, let's just think about their. I mean, who did they? You mean you can't? When we talked about the Timberwolves wins and the Bulls wins. The Warriors have beaten both LA teams.
I'm not impressed.
Not impressed. I mean, it's Steph Curry, and this is another take. Steph Curry. I think Steph Curry is going to win MVP. But Steph Curry is out. I think Steph Curry has a chip on his shoulder this season. I think, he's kind of. People are talking about all these younger guys coming in, Giannis, Jokic. Talking about all these younger guys that are the elite players in the league. And I think in terms of the top players in the game, I think Steph is slept on a little bit in terms of that category. I think Steph Curry's gonna remind people that he's still Steph Curry, and I mean he's doing things he's never done. When is the last time Steph Curry has had back-to-back games of 10 rebounds? When does that happen?
Every day, every year. I think that the Warriors play. This is my bold prediction for this week. Ready? Because I want to see your spirit crushed. They play the Thunder twice this week, and they're gonna lose one of those games. Yep, get ready, Caveman. Your spirits will absolutely be crumbled when Josh Giddey comes to town and absolutely smashes down on the Warriors this week. Yep, you watch.
People are forgetting the Warriors do not have Klay Thompson or James Wiseman right now. Now, is it an overreaction to say that? So I don't think it's an overreaction, honestly, to say the Warriors will win the championship this season. Do you think it's an overreaction to say that?
Yes. Because I just don't think the way they're playing is sustainable. Because offensively, it's still been the Steph Curry show, and we saw this played out last season. What happened?
They don't have Klay Thompson and James.
Yes, they will have Klay Thompson, James Wiseman. Who knows when that guy's ever gonna play? Because I don't. And Kuminga's been out. Wiseman and Kuminga both have been banged up. Not that Kuminga's gonna play a ton of minutes, but. It's just offensively, what they're doing right now is not sustainable. It's not sustainable. With Klay Thompson, you're assuming he's going to hop in day one. Everything's going to click. They're going to do Ring Around the Rosie, and it's going to be the old Splash Brothers of old. And the reality is it's not going to be like that. I promise you that watch game one, Klay comes back. They both hit like 10 threes each. And I'm like, what? I hate basketball anyway.
Klay's come back and break his record of 37 points in the
quarter. No, he's not. He's only going to have 30, and it's not going to be the same. But no, I just don't think offensively what they're doing is sustainable. They did win 2 good games. They were fairly close. The Lakers, even though their roster's great, I feel like they're kind of a mess.
Even though you still got to give props to the Warriors for knocking off the.
What? That wasn't the game where Dwight Howard and Anthony Davis were ready to knock each other out. I believe that was game 2. But this is a team that we didn't even mention that when we talked about the Lakers. I mean, they just seem like they're not. It's not kumbaya in the Lakers locker room right now. So I mean, it's still a decent. It's not like they beat the Thunder. Sorry, Thunder, not sorry. But yeah, I don't think what they're doing offensively is sustainable. A lot of people, I think, were really hoping Jordan Poole was going to step up big time. It's only been 2 games, but I think he's still, 21, 22, whatever he is. he's going to be inconsistent still. But if Jordan Poole can show some consistency, maybe Andrew Wiggins. That was a joke. You're supposed to laugh because Andrew Wiggins is never going to be what we thought he was going to be. But I mean, I think that's the reality. I don't think offensively what they're doing is sustainable. So I don't. I don't know what it will take for me to hop on the Warriors bandwagon because they're going to be solid defensively. But this team's not much different than last year.
They're solid, and I think people forget. I mean, I think the defensive end is where Klay Thompson is going to struggle when he comes back, because he was before he got hurt one of the premier, probably the premier 3-and-D guard in the NBA. I do think he's going. Offensively, Klay Thompson's game's just give him the ball and he shoots. He doesn't really move around. He just stands around on the perimeter and give him the ball and he drills the shot. I mean, that's not really gonna. I don't think that's gonna take much time to get going. I mean, I don't think that's gonna really take any adjustment for Klay Thompson to shoot the basketball. I think it's gonna take some time for him to gel with everybody else in the defensive end of the court, but offensively, I think by the time playoffs roll around, they're gonna be good. The Warriors are good right now without Klay Thompson. I mean, I have no reason to ever hop off the Warriors bandwagon that they're gonna win the championship this year.
It's gonna really suck when they lose to the Thunder this week. I'm apologizing in advance, so it's gonna be really heartbreaking for you.
When do they play first? Do they play before we're gonna
Tuesday?
Oh God! Just to let you know, if they lose on Tuesday, I will be sick Wednesday and I will not be able to go live.
Nope, I will go live by myself then, don't you worry. And I will be wearing my Josh Giddey jersey. I don't even like Josh Giddey, but I will go buy a Josh Giddey jersey and I will wear it just for the occasion. Then I'll set it on fire after that. But I will wear it for that episode.
Oh man, okay. I don't got anything else here.
Okay, good, because I want something else. I don't want to end on the Warriors, but whatever. We'll end on the Warriors. We'll end on the Warriors. It's fine. This has been long enough. I want to try to keep it to 30 minutes, but all right. Yeah, that's it then. So we're going to be doing this every Monday. We're going to be releasing players of the week as well, each and every week. So that'll be recapping the previous week's players. And then we'll be going live on Wednesdays in the Fantasy Hotspot on Facebook. So if you're not a part of that group, just type in the Fantasy Hotspot on Facebook and it'll pop right up. Just join the group. Every Wednesday, we're going to go live around 5:30 Eastern or so, whenever Caveman decides he wants to wake up. And then we'll go live. But make sure you subscribe on YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts, and we'll see you guys next time.
Yep.